Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of P.I.P, People in Property, with myself, Adil Niazi from Key Property Consultants. Today we'll be joined by a gentleman who actually met on social media, go by the name of Evans. He is doing all things property, from sourcing, development and most importantly, property education. Evans, how are you?
I am fantastic, but I feel privileged to be here today, so thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Good. As we know, it's all about networking. Your network is your net worth.
Absolutely.
And from here on, you never know how many deals we can do and help each other grow in our businesses.
Absolutely, but I never realized as well the dress code was orange, so you should have sent me a text earlier.
It's my birthday, bro. I'm trying to stay up there, but you got yours on. It's all level up, so we're going to both level up today, eh?
Man, let's make it happen.
Good. So tell me a bit about yourself, Evans, before the property journey started and how you sort of managed to get into property.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always came to this country in 2013 from the Caribbean in Saint Lucia, and
Nice.
I always came here with the sole intention to become a better version of myself, help my family back home, and I tried to do everything to make money.
Nice.
Legal, I did it. Illegal, I used to have a look, never got involved. But after trying multiple different things, it didn't really work. But what happened was when I first came here in 2013, I actually stayed in a HMO in Crawley, and it was a living landlord. It was a massive house. And I was just so baffled one day when I was speaking to him, and he was saying to me that basically he lives there rent free because we became very close friends.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, man, to have a massive house like this must be £1 million and you're not even paying rent. I was like, wow, I want to be like this.
Yeah.
So since that day, I was obviously intrigued and open to property, but just like lots of people and most people I spoke to, they make it, when I speak to them, it sounds so difficult and speaking, they speak in tongues. So I was like, man, I can't do that. I'm not like you. I'm not a rich white guy. I'm a black guy from the Caribbean. So like a lot of people, I took myself out of it. But what happened was in 2020 when lockdown hit, reality hit. I lost my job, and I was like, how am I going to?
What job was that, if you don't mind me asking? What was you doing?
Yeah, I used to work in sales.
Okay.
So I've had multiple sales jobs. I used to be a car salesman.
Okay.
I worked for Jaguar Land Rover.
Okay.
For about 3.5 years. Prior to that, I worked for Euro Car Parks.
Okay.
And also Car Giant as well. So I've had a car sales sort of like background.
So you got to be a people's person at the end of the day, though, because car sales, if people don't like you, they're not going to buy a car from you,
100%. I've always been a people's person. But I was born in Saint Lucia. You can't really be there and not be a people's person because, you have to hustle to eat.
Okay, I'm with you.
From since then, I adopt just speaking to people and, if they say yes, they say no, whatever, but I speak to everybody.
Nice.
So, yeah, so that's obviously the background of car sales. And then what happened was I left car sales. I did a bit of network marketing, MLM.
Okay.
That was going very well. I had a very good team. I actually left my job at Jaguar Land Rover to do MLM.
Okay. And
everybody thought I was crazy because I was a top salesperson there, making about 5K a month, driving a brand new Range Rover.
Nice.
I was only about, in my mid-20s.
Okay.
So in my circle, I appeared successful. I bought a residential house in Luton. So I looked very good. But what happened was I came here to be the best version of myself. And what happened was when I used to work at Jaguar Land Rover, I used to work like literally every day. Because the more I work, the more cars I sell, the more commission I make.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to make more money, but it's impossible because I cannot work 8 days in the week.
No, you're using all your time.
I'm using all my time. I can't do side jobs. I did some side jobs on weekends doing being a bouncer. And it was good, but again, it's £10 an hour. I haven't got that many more hours to
You
get.
can't do 100 hours a day.
It's impossible. So I was like, how can I do this, man? And one day I was speaking to a guy who came to buy a car from me, and he was talking about, residual income and passive income, and he was doing property as well.
Nice.
So I was like, wow, man, can you actually make unlimited amount of money? So again, that again refreshed the property idea back into my mind.
Planted the second seed. The first seed was the HMO that you was living in, living landlord. Second seed was the man, residual income, passive income.
Yeah.
So the pennies dropping.
Yeah, it started, and I think it always hit at a time where I was open to hear it. Because sometimes when you're so sold out to something else, you get an opportunity, but you don't see it because you're not looking for it. So when the second penny dropped, I was like, cool, man, this makes sense. But again, I took myself out of it because of money and all the rest of it.
Right.
So like, how else can I make passive income? And that's what led me to doing MLM and network marketing.
Okay.
So I left my job when I started to pick up.
Right.
And after about a few months of me leaving my job at Jaguar Land Rover, the MLM just crashed. My whole team quit on me. The money dried up.
Oh, mate.
And I was like, man, I've told everybody at work I'm going to be a millionaire. Now I'm like, now back to a bum. But because of pride and ego, what happened was I never went back to my job.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Because you was going to be comfortable again.
100%.
That's it.
That was the main. And like, you know what? When I was there, I was too comfortable, man.
Yeah.
So I never went back into it. I obviously, and then COVID hit around the same sort of time. And I was just like, what do I do, man? I've got a missus. I've been selling the trims for the last few years. Still, I'm going to become somebody one day. But like, what do I do? During COVID, I ended up coming across and watching Netflix. And my partner, my missus, who's not my wife, Ellen, she was watching a program called...
Congratulations on getting married, by the way.
Man, appreciate it. She was watching Selling Sunsets.
Okay.
Again, property. And I was just hooked onto that. Again, I'm like, you know what it is? I'm going to get a job as an estate agent. So as soon as COVID dropped, I got a job as an estate agent. I did that for about 3 months. And I realized I need to be on the other side of the coin. Because when I was an estate agent, I was only on like minimum wage.
Yeah.
But I met a lot of people from Asia, because I was based in Slough, from sort of like, you know, Pakistan, India.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, most of them could hardly speak a few words of English. Some of them have been in the country the same level time as me, and they are successful.
And they have got property.
They have properties. And they're like, what? How is this guy get 5 properties? I'm like, something is wrong. I'm like, nah, got to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I left the job after 3 months. And then, I obviously picked up some trading courses in 2020. And then the rest is history.
So you invested in yourself, basically, to
100%.
reinvent yourself.
100%. Because the thing is, I've been flirting with the idea of getting into property for a long time. But when I had to borrow the money, because I never had the money at the time, to invest in myself, it became, okay, cool. I've invested. This has to work now.
Yeah.
And that was 2020. I became financially free within a few months, using creative charges like rent to rent and deal sourcing.
Nice.
And I've scaled up from there, you know, selling loads of deals.
Okay.
The deal sourcing company, and now buying properties,
Brilliant.
refurbishing them. And
So it started with the deal sourcing.
Yeah.
That's how it started. So you was generating your cash and your cash flow from the deal sourcing.
Correct.
Now, with the deal sourcing, there's lots of different elements to it. So what kind of deal sourcing was you doing? Was you doing like the standard sort of stuff? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I started doing deal sourcing, I realized there's a slight niche in deal sourcing, because most deal sources I knew was only sourcing properties to buy,
Okay.
BRRs or buy-to-lets. But I realized there's loads of people who has £5,000 to £10,000 in their accounts. So I'm like, cool, I can actually find them a rent-to-rent deal.
Right.
So I started sourcing only rent-to-rents.
Okay.
And I was like, I was very unique doing that. There were no lot of people sourcing rent-to-rent deals.
At the time, it's getting a little bit saturated now.
Right now, every Tom, Dick and Harry is doing it. But yeah,
And that's because you're doing that and teaching them from level up.
that is true. That is true. And probably because they've seen me, obviously, I have a video online that's got over 2 million views, you know, doing that. And everyone's like, okay, cool. Like, I need to be doing that. But yeah, when I got started, there were not many people doing
Okay.
it.
So you started building it from the sourcing for the rent-to-rent stuff.
Yeah.
And then where did you take it from there?
So what I did was I used to have like a small strategy of selling 2 deals/3 deals and then taking on a deal.
Okay.
So when I sourced the deal, rather than to get the money to go shopping, I used to keep it to fund the rent-to-rent deal, which I know I did probably about 5K roughly.
Okay.
So that was my strategy, doing deal sourcing, then doing rent-to-rents. And my plan was to get like 20 rent-to-rent deals.
Okay.
But when I got to 10, I realized that it's bringing me enough income that I don't really need to get another 10.
Okay.
I realized that the same effort it takes to find a rent-to-rent deal, the same effort it takes to find a buy refurbished finance deal.
Okay.
And I started doing that and started joint venturing and raising finance to buy properties.
Brilliant. So you had a target of 20, you got to the 10, that's your cash flow, that's your salary, your income.
Yeah.
To then subsidize your lifestyle, to do what you need to do, to then be able to say, you know what, I'm ready to take it to the next level. And that's when you started doing your buy-to-lets, but as in to do for your buying, you're doing your BRRR.
Yeah.
And you're retaining them and obviously refinancing, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of area did you start doing this in?
I started doing this up north in Bradford, Huddersfield area, Leeds area.
Is this because you live up there, or is that where you saw the market?
No, I lived up there, but I lived up there just because I moved here from London.
Okay.
So I moved over there for about six months to a year.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, I'm about the money, man. If the money's over there, I'm going to go.
You're going to follow where the money is.
I'm not one of those people who are going to be like, oh, it doesn't work in my area. But now, so what area does it work in?
Yeah.
And I just moved over there. So that's what happened.
Well, if you wasn't like that, mate, you wouldn't have moved from Saint Lucia all the way to here.
I
mean, the weather's much better over there.
10 times
I'm sure the people are as well. So.
10 times better. I was there in December, and my wife Ellen was like, why do we not just stay here? We can actually do deal sourcing from there. We can still make money from there.
Yeah.
And I actually sold a deal while I was there for 2 weeks. And I was very tempted to just stay there for a good few months, but I was like, nah, man. It's too slow. I love the weather.
Yeah.
And you know, like when you're from the country, it's not a holiday for you.
No. You got to see relatives and stuff, yeah?
My mom still lives there. When I go around the house, she still gives me house chores to do. I'm like, well, I'm on holiday, like,
When I relax.
So yeah, for her it was a holiday. For me, it wasn't. So that's the reason why 2 weeks and we're back at.
Okay, understood. So, but it's always nice to go and see family though again, and then catch the nice sun, the nice weather, the nice food,
Absolutely.
and everything like that. All right, so you built yourself up, you know, invested in yourself. You did your rent-to-rents. You bought yourself a few properties. Do you see yourself sort of staying investing up in Slough, or do you see yourself coming down to London, or is that where your sort of market is because you've got your people and your team around there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not coming down to London. I mean, I'm just wrapping up a project in Huddersfield. Should be done by the end of this month. But I'm now down in London. We're buying something in Ealing, West London.
Okay.
We're now doing a big flip in Chelsea as well.
Okay. So will you retain that deal? Tell us, break the deal down a little bit if you can.
Yeah, so the one in Ealing is going to be a HMO, is going to be a buy, refurbished finance. We're buying it for 430,000, spend about 30-40 grand on there.
Brilliant.
End value be about 590, so we're going to refinance it, pull most of the money out, and it's going to be a 5-bed HMO.
Lovely. Recycle the funds.
Recycle the funds. The one in Chelsea is going to be a flip.
Okay.
Buying it for just under 1.3 million. Spend
Well done.
300k. End value be about 200, so it's got quite a hefty chunk.
As a 200k profit, you mean? So end value's going to be 2 million maybe?
2 million. Yeah, so that was going to be a flip, just get some cash flow.
And you're doing that with OPM, other people's money, or you doing that yourself, or you doing that JB? How are you operating these deals?
Yeah,
obviously, the reason I'm asking is because Slough market prices and Chelsea market prices, there's a big difference in them, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to be fair, I've done one joint venture. That one's on a 10-bed HMO. That one's all the way in Huddersfield.
Okay.
But what I'm doing in London now is obviously raising finance, OPM, other people's money. I do want to open up more and do more joint ventures because I want to people approach me to the joint ventures, but I think I'm going to start doing it now a lot more.
And you're giving like a guaranteed return on the investment for this project, which is brilliant. All right, that's awesome, man. Tell us a little bit about the education side of things, because obviously now you've obviously understood how it all works. Yeah, you're doing it for yourself. And now you seem to be helping other people, because I've seen from your Instagram, which is where I found you actually, that you've got students and people that are sort of taking a leaf out of your book, if you like, and doing what you do. Tell us a little bit about what you do there. Yeah,
I mean, when I got started in project, to be fair, I wouldn't say I intended to be a trader. I'll be honest with you, I just wanted to change my life, right? I just wanted a better life. But by doing that, I started to inspire loads of people, and I was part of a previous property trading company, and I saw the back end of it, and I saw how impactful it is. I met so many people that I met them today. Few months time they've left their job. I was like, wow, and they're coming to me. I'm like, thank you, Evans, for encouraging me to always get started, so on and so forth. And the feeling I got from that, it was a unique feeling. I mean, no amount of money I've obviously made has given me that feeling before. So
that satisfaction,
it's just like it's hard to explain unless you've actually witnessed it. And
have you got children, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Son.
Is it anything like having a child?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. That's a crazy feeling. I've got two myself.
That is a good feeling. I think that's the probably only thing I can compare to that feeling. Yeah. It's just having my son. But yeah, other than that, man, I feel like I actually feel like that's what I'm meant to do, because nothing gave me a feeling of satisfaction like doing that.
Okay.
And somebody approached me one day, but he's be like, Evans, I want you to mentor me. I'm like, I don't do mentoring. I'm doing my property trading. I'm doing my property business. It's like, no, I want you to train me. I'm like, bro, I haven't got time in it. But this guy was persistent. His name is Yannick, a guy from Birmingham. And after a few weeks, I'm like, cool, man. All right, bro, let's just do it, man. He's like, how much do you charge? I'm like, I don't know. How much should I pay me? He paid me. And what happened was, for the first month, we were doing all right, but he never got no results. Okay. Second month, no result. But the third month, he started getting results. And then he got one deal, he got 2 deals, and now he's just finding the deals out and he's sourcing them. I think I spoke to him last week. He's on 4 deals in a week. Brilliant. £3,000 each other. I'm like, wow, you know what, man? I need to be helping more people. And that's what happened. 1 turned to 2, and now we're well about 35 students. Fabulous. And majority of them are obviously getting, getting success. So yeah, it's a feeling I can't explain, and that's kind of like why I started doing it. And that's why I keep doing it.
Good. Obviously, we've got to make clear to the audience as well. It's obviously you can take them to the water, but you can't make them drink it. Yeah,
100%.
So they've got to put their effort in and the work. Because as you said with this chap Yannick, for 2 months he didn't have results. He could have packed it in and been like, "Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, like you're a scab, like kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
But that's not how it works.
I think the reason why he didn't quit, because before I obviously got him on, I'm like, there's only one thing I want from you. Just to not quit. That's only one thing I want from you. If you're going to commit to doing that, let's work together.
Yeah.
And because he committed to doing that, that's why I didn't quit. Because most people, as you said, after 1 month or weeks, some people, they'll quit.
They think it's overnight success. That's
It's
why.
overnight success. And to be fair, I don't blame them, because social media sometimes is packaged to look like that. And that's the funny thing about it. But that's what I listen, man. This is not microwave pizza. This is cow heel soup. It will take you, it will take you a long time to cook, right? So he's like, yeah. And I think because I obviously set the right expectation, I think that's why I didn't quit.
That's good, man. That's good. So you're showing in the ways, which is fantastic. So not only are you developing and growing yourself, you're helping other people grow and develop as well, and which is fabulous. Where would you see yourself taking your companies, or what is your sort of end goal that you're looking for?
Yeah, very good question, man. And I think somebody asked me that yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was this week. And I said, you know what it is, man? I just want to help and impact a lot more people. I mean, I've realized I've had loads of setbacks in my life, loads of failures, loads of things has gone wrong. But whenever those things happen, it's redirected me in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I believe everything I've gone through in my life is to get me to where I am right now, so I can inspire people.
Okay.
Because when I share my story with some people, they feel inspired. But I feel like when things are going wrong at the time, I wasn't inspired. I feel like, why is that happening to me? Yeah. So long story short, I think God has obviously got me to where I am today. I'm very, very close to God. I think God has made me, become this person who's gone through loads of trials, loads of tribulations, and now come out the other end. Yes. To now help and inspire people. So my goal is to obviously help and impact a lot more people. Okay. Not only in the UK, but I want to go back to the Caribbean. I want to go to wherever God brings me. Nice. To help and inspire people. I think I just want to let everybody. I want to show everybody that there is another way. Yeah. And if they choose not to take it, that's fine. But at least they know that there's another way. Because when I was born and raised in Saint Lucia in the Caribbean, I never knew anything about property or no shit. The only thing I knew was drug dealing. Yeah. Because the guys that had the biggest gold chains and the biggest rings. That's what they did. That's what they did. Yeah. So for the very first few years of my life, I actually thought that was my only option. Yeah. Until I saw people coming from foreign, which is like America and England, and they're flossing, they're living life, and I started questioning them. What do you do? How and
they weren't drug dealers.
They weren't drug dealers. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. I can actually be like you. Yeah. And that gave me the vision that I can actually get out of the island and become something. So I think my goal is to show everybody, yes, wherever they are, that there is another option. It doesn't matter what cards you've dealt. It doesn't matter what cards you dealt. It is how you play your hand. Definitely.
So basically, as long as they use their setbacks, if you like, as lessons and grow from that and develop themselves and be persistent.
100%. Because I feel like most of my success has come from pain. A lot of black people is like, why are you so motivated? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why have you got a personal trainer? What? It's just like, because 2 weeks ago I was in Ibiza. I was on holiday, and there was almost everybody was topless. Okay. And I couldn't take off my top. It was 30 degrees. I had my top on. I was like, you know what, man? I'm not happy with this, Yeah. So when
you want to get a six-pack in that, basically.
So when I came back from my beef, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a pistol. I get a pistol for the same day. Nice. And I've been working out every single day since then. I was dropped about 6 kg.
You're taking action. That's why.
100%.
You've seen something that you want to achieve and you entertain, and you've taken action.
100%. 100%. Because I feel like pain is a very, very good force.
They say pain is weakness leaving the body.
I agree with that 100%. 100%. A lot of people complain I haven't got money, but that's cool. If you haven't got money, then you haven't got much to use, though.
Yeah, literally.
Just try something new.
Literally.
So that's why I'm trying to show everybody, listen, you can do it, man. Yeah. I don't care what your situation is, you can do it.
What would you say has been the most difficult period for you when you sort of was thought, you know what, I'm down, I'm out, and then you did pick yourself up and you got going, and so what was the driving force behind that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. That happened in 2020. I think it was about March time, I think it was. Yeah. And my son was with me, because my son doesn't live with me. I've got him every 2 weeks. Okay. So he came around my wife today, was my fiance, or my girlfriend at the time. Okay. So he came down to Ealing, and we were living together for the weekend. And we were downstairs in the living room. I was playing with him. His name is Jaden. And I was asking him, Jaden, just random. It's a random question. There's no intent behind the question. I just asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he was very, very clear as to where he wanted to be. He said, I want to be a dentist, Daddy. I think, like, a dentist? Where'd you get that from? I never taught you. I never know any dentist.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I want to be a dentist like my uncle. Who's not my brother, it's his mom's brother. And the reason why I want to be a dentist, because his uncle brings him on holiday, buys him nice gifts, latest toys. And I was like, you know what, man, I've only got one kid and he doesn't want to be like me. I'm like, you know what, I'm a failure. If my own flesh and blood doesn't want to be like me, I am doing something wrong.
You want to make a change.
So I said, you know what it is, man, I can have all the L's in the world, but the one L I can't have is my son, not using me as a role model. So that was the line I draw in the sand. I was like, you know what, I want to do something better. I want to inspire my son.
It takes a real man to be able to sort of come to terms with something like that and say, you know what, this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a change
100%.
and I'm going to push forward, because, you know, like, you could have kicked back and thought, oh, it is what it is, whatever, and just not be a bum or just keep doing what you're doing, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what, it takes big balls to basically face, not your fears as such, but you're facing reality. And you're doing something to make a change on that. So respect for that.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. And I was just like, you know what, man? I've only got one kid. And I feel like I realized something very, 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 very quickly as a parent, that I tell him what to do all the time, like go to school, do this, do that. But he doesn't really do what I tell him to do. But anything that he sees me do, he wants to do it.
So you got to lead by example.
Got to lead by example. And if he wants you, you know, and I want him to be successful, how can I want him to be successful if I'm a bum living in my girlfriend's house? I'm trying to say, like, nah, go to become something so you can see that, you know what, you can become something as well.
Praise to God, mate. You're on the right path. You're doing that. You know, you're becoming quite successful. You're doing your thing and you're helping others at the same time. So I'm sure he's going to not want to be a dentist anytime soon. He's going to be a property man like his daddy.
Yeah. I asked him the other day, what do you want to be? What do you want to be now? And he said, I want to be a property investor like my daddy.
Yeah. So you made the biggest change that you wanted to make. You made that change.
Grateful for that.
That's probably the biggest satisfaction. Forget all the other stuff. Yeah. That's probably biggest satisfaction 100%. For you. I was going to ask you what's your biggest win, but that sounds like it might be one of the bigger ones. But what else would you say is that's been a big win for you in this whole journey of transitioning from, you know, working for someone to being your own boss and having the freedom and the time to do what you want and probably spend more time with your son and do stuff with your son? Yeah,
very good question, man. I think there's loads of wins, but I think one of them would be the impact I've had on people. For example, like my wife's parents, they obviously they were literally by the book. Everything that the government and society has told them to do, they've done it. Go to job, get a good education, have a pension pot, and they're now approaching, well, they're at the age of pension and there's nothing in the pot.
Yeah.
And since I started the property, I've managed to obviously help them and joint venture with them.
Okay.
We have one property deal that's bringing them about £2,000 net profit.
Brilliant.
Which is a lot more than the pension pot.
Good.
So I've been able to obviously help them. My wife's brother, he's just left uni last year. He's like, what do I do? He's now not going to uni. He's now part of my team, now doing property as well.
Nice.
I've got my brother, from Saint Lucia, who's now doing property. So I think it's the people I've been able to impact. I've been able to impact a lot of people and give them hope for the future. I think that's a feeling that's I can't explain. I think that's one of my biggest wins.
That sounds really good, man. Your journey's been really you've had your struggles, your trials, your tribulations. You've bounced back from them pretty good from what I can see and what you've told me. And obviously, social media can be a lie, but obviously your social media is testament. You've got some of your students on there. Your journey's been good. You're on the right path as well. You've impacted a lot of people, as you say. I mean, your son's turned from wanting to be a dentist to wanting to be a property developer. You've helped all these people that you just told us about. So it just goes to show that people can turn their lives around, no matter what your background is, where you're from, what you do. As long as you have the drive, the passion, and you want to sort of develop and you invest in yourself, which is exactly what you've done. So kudos to you, mate. Well done. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be doing some deals in the future.
Absolutely.
So guys, thank you very much for coming and watching the podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and most and foremost, subscribe. 70% of you that watch the podcast aren't actually subscribed. So if you want to see more videos like Evans and the other guests that we've had, you need to click that button. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.